watching EAC News. Thank you for joining us. Myanmar's ambassador to Cambodia, Thich Linh On, is bidding farewell to Cambodia after 4 years in the position. Having started his term before the violent military takeover in Myanmar in 2021, the ambassador is heading to Russia for his next diplomatic mission. Ambassador Thich Linh On met with Minister of Foreign Affairs Sokchenda Sopia on Tuesday to say goodbye and exchange pleasantries upon his exit. Both sides noted with satisfaction the close relationship and cooperation between Cambodia and Myanmar, built on the solid foundation of a long-standing friendship and solidarity, especially through high-level exchanges between the two countries' leaders. The ambassador expressed deep appreciation to Cambodia for its considerable efforts and support through ASEAN to address the political crisis in Myanmar. He said that Cambodia has contributed to peace, stability, and development in his country. It is not yet clear who will replace him as Myanmar's ambassador to Cambodia. Kristen Winters, EAC News. You're watching EAC News. Thank you for joining us. The Westerdam cruise ship has returned to Cambodia nearly 4 years after it was granted a safe haven in the kingdom during the early months of the COVID-19 pandemic. With more than 2,000 aboard, the ship docked at the Sihanoukville Autonomous Port on December 28th, where guests were greeted by Minister of Tourism, Sok Soken. Prime Minister Hun Manet extended a warm welcome to the international guests via social media and expressed hope that their visit would bring more attention to the tourism potential of Cambodia. On February 13, 2020, the Westerdam was granted entry to Cambodia after 5 nations denied the ship entry, including Japan, its original destination. The ship spent days in limbo before former Prime Minister Hun Sen agreed to welcome the guests, later saying, quote, "Humanitarian work has no borders." Passengers and crew, including 1,455 multinational passengers and 802 crew members, began disembarking on Valentine's Day 2020 and were able to return to their home countries. No one on board was confirmed to have contracted COVID on the ship, and at the time, there were only 45,000 cases documented worldwide. The World Health Organization later dubbed Cambodia a small country with a big heart, and applauded the efforts of the Cambodian authorities to secure the safe return of the cruise passengers and its crew. Kristen Winters, EAC News. You're watching EAC News. Thank you for joining us. Minister of Labor Heng Suor signed a memorandum of understanding yesterday with South Korean Governor Dong Han-yuk to provide Cambodians with more opportunities for seasonal work in South Korea. The labor minister thanked the Korean leader for accepting more Cambodian workers in Choncheon City and the surrounding area. In addition to seasonal recruitment, the minister urged the governor to encourage the city's factories to accept skilled Cambodian workers as well. The governor thanked the minister for the trustworthy cooperation of the ministry in sending workers to South Korea under the employment permit system. The ministry noted that any Cambodians wanting to work abroad should apply through the ministry to ensure the effectiveness and protection of workers' rights. In April, the ministry said that more than 60,000 Cambodians are working in South Korea and sending home an average of $500 to $600 million every year. Kristen Winters, EAC News. You're watching EAC News. Thank you for joining us. Banned news source, the Cambodia Daily, posted an article yesterday claiming that the government's highly anticipated canal, which will connect the Basak River to the sea, is merely another Chinese-funded project that will only benefit Chinese economic interests. Prime Minister Hun Manet responded to the article today while inaugurating a wastewater plant and said that he respects the rights to freedom of expression and the free press, but that no one should create stories to destroy the nation. According to the Cambodia Daily, the Cambodian government is borrowing another $5 billion from China to build the Funan Techo Canal, which is soon expected to undergo construction. The Prime Minister said that this is a fabrication and that the canal will be funded through a private company under a buy, operate, transfer agreement, which will allow the private company to build and control the canal for a designated amount of time, much like the new Siem Reap airport. The Prime Minister said that the Khmer newspaper, based abroad, made up a fictional source attributed as a high-ranking official in the Ministry of Economy, who asked to remain anonymous for safety reasons. The Prime Minister said that the fake source was created to impress people and tarnish Cambodia's reputation.
អានឹងគេប្រើចិត្តសាស្ត្របងប្អូនណាចិត្តសាស្ត្រមនុស្សយើង បើសិនគេនិយាយប្រាប់ក្រោមមិនសូវជឿទេតែអាខ្សឹបនឹងជឿណាស់ហើយបើខ្សឹបប្រាប់ថាកុំប្រាប់គេប្រភពគឺថាលក្ខការដឹងកបុតក៏នឹងកាន់តែជឿទៀតមែនអត់ហើយកសែតចឹងអត់ដឹងប្រភពមកពីណាយកមករត់សិតតែប្រភពជួនកាលដេកសម័យដេកយល់សពសោះក៏ប្រាប់បង្កើតមួយប្រភពដោយប្រធានចេញដោយសារវាមិនមែនជាការពិតពួកខ្ញុំមិនជឿថាមានមន្ត្រីរាជរដ្ឋាភិបាលជាន់ខ្ពស់នៅក្រសួងសេដ្ឋកិច្ចហិរញ្ញវត្ថុដែលជាបណ្ដុំអ្នកមានចំណេះដឹងនិងសមត្ថភាពបទពិសោធន៍ល្ងងដល់ថ្នាក់មិនស្គាល់ភាពខុសគ្នារវាងអ្វីទៅដែលជាឥណទានដែលយើងខ្ចីនិងអ្វីទៅជាគម្រោង BOT.
The government says that the Cambodia Daily article, which says that only Chinese companies have the capacity to benefit from the canal, is fake and asks the public not to share it. In fact, access to the Cambodia Daily has been blocked in Cambodia, along with Radio Free Asia, since the run-up to the July election. The Funan Techo Canal project plans to connect the Basak River to the sea in Kep with a 180-kilometer-long waterway. The Prime Minister says the project will benefit the Cambodian trade and export market, but opponents say it will only benefit a precious few. Construction on the canal is expected to take about 4 years and cost around $1.7 billion. Kristen Winters, EAC News. You're watching EAC News. Thank you for joining us. Yesterday, Interior Minister Sa Soka met with Vietnamese Ambassador Nguyen Hoi Tang to discuss security cooperation. Cambodia and Vietnam have expressed the same strong hope that relations between the two will be further strengthened and expanded to serve the mutual benefit of the two nations and the peoples of the two countries. During the meeting, the Minister of Interior thanked the Vietnamese ambassador for always paying attention to enhancing bilateral relations and playing an active role in promoting cooperation in all sectors, especially politics, trade, investment, education, and tourism. The two leaders praised the good relations between their law enforcement forces, especially when it comes to information exchange. They said their relations contribute to maintaining security, stability, and social security to serve the economic development of both countries. The two sides also celebrated the fruitful outcome of the official visit Prime Minister Hun Manet paid to Vietnam earlier this month. Kristen Winters, EAC News. You're watching EAC News. Thank you for joining us. National Assembly President Kun Sotari met with the winners of the 2024 Australian Government Postgraduate Scholarships yesterday at the National Assembly Building. On the occasion, 18 people representing 38 students who will be pursuing postgraduate studies at various educational institutions in Australia received a recommendation and a courtesy call with the National Assembly President. EAC News reporter Anthony Ellis has more.
All scholarship recipients came from a variety of institutions, including government, the private sector, NGOs and civil society, and will continue their master's and doctoral studies in Australia. The National Assembly President congratulated the winners and said that their ability to secure scholarships in the country with the third highest education standards in the world is a source of pride for the students, their families and Cambodia society as a whole. She said that students nowadays are able to study abroad with pride due to Cambodia's current state of peace, noting that she too had received a scholarship to study in Australia in 1975 but was unable to go due to civil war. She said the peace is more vulnerable than anything and that without there can be no development or opportunities for young people to get an education. She told the students who received the scholarships that they are important human resources for the development of the country. She encouraged them to participate in promoting the natural culture, especially with the people from other countries, so that they may better know Cambodia and understand it. It is a peaceful and socially stable country that wants to welcome tourists and investors from all over the world. Anthony Ellis, EAC News.
You're watching EAC News. Thank you for joining us. Minister of Interior Sa Soka said that if government officials or civil servants are involved in hit-and-run traffic accidents, they may lose their positions. EAC News reporter Anthony Ellis has more.
Yesterday, the Interior Minister spoke at the 18th International Day of Remembrance of Victims of Road Traffic Accidents in Sitnaville, where he suggested that those involved in hit-and-runs will not be immune from consequences moving forward. He said those involved in traffic accidents must come forward and confess instead of running from the scene. He stressed that civil servants must be public role models and that their actions should show respect and others can emulate. He specified mentioning driving under the influence at night as danger, while minimising the number of cases is insignificant. Traffic accidents remain a leading cause of death in Cambodia, especially as the development increases the number of people on the roads. The new attitude is in line with the Prime Minister Hun Manet's pledge to clean up the government by expelling officials and authorities that do not uphold respect for image. The government has also been pushing for the removal of police officers and officials linked to drug use, trafficking and extortion. Anthony Ellis, EAC News.
You're watching EAC News. Thank you for joining us. The General Department of Customs and Excise has released a series of new reform measures to help the private sector recover, including reducing fees and simplifying customs procedures. Prime Minister Hun Manet has called for reforms in various ministries and departments that will strengthen Cambodia's competitiveness and contribute to building resilience in the national economy. EAC News reporter Anthony Ellis has the story.
Director General of Department of Customs, Kun Nym, announced the reforms yesterday and said that the new measures were a result of the November meeting between the government and the private sector. The Customs Department has agreed to optimise export and import processes by promoting the use of electronic systems, employing custom officials overnight, training and licensing customs brokers, and strengthening control over illegal import of frozen pork, chicken, eggs and fish. He said that some of the measures will be implemented starting next month related to reducing administrative costs and employing electronic systems. Meat import measures are expected to begin in May 2024. The Director General said that while the new measures will reduce the government's customs revenue, they will reduce some of the financial burden on the private sector.
ជារួមគឺមានការលះបង់រដ្ឋាភិបាលលះបង់កាត់បន្ថយចំណាយជាក្នុងទម្រង់ជាកម្រៃពាក់ព័ន្ធផ្សេងៗហ្នឹងគឺសុខចិត្តបាត់បង់ហ្នឹងប៉ុន្តែឲ្យបធូរដល់បន្ទុករបស់វិស័យឯកជន
Kun Nym also reflected on the Customs Department not reaching its revenue goals this year, saying that it was, in fact, a sign of Cambodia's improving economy and more products are made within the country, reducing the need for imports in other countries. He also noted the free trade agreements with other countries as cause for the declining of import revenue.
ជារួមគឺនេះគឺចំណូលគយធ្លាក់ចុះហើយនេះជានិន្នាការមានកត្តាសត្វចានមាត្រហើយជានិន្នាការដែលយើងទាំងអស់គ្នាឃើញមួយផ្នែកថាវាជាបញ្ហាប្រឈមដោយសារចំណូលគយថយចុះប៉ុន្តែត្រូវមើលមួយជ្រុងទៀតដែរអានេះសេដ្ឋកិច្ចកម្ពុជាកើនឡើងតាព្រោះយើងមានផលិតកម្មក្នុងស្រុក
You're watching EAC News. Thank you for joining us. Prime Minister Hun Manet stressed the importance of collecting data to guide the government's policies in the private sector. While reviewing the results of last year's economic census, he said that progress can only be made by an up-to-date understanding of the current economic situation. EAC News reporter Anthony Ellis has the story.
The Prime Minister Hun Manet spoke at a review of the national report on the final results of the Cambodian Economic Census 2022 on the morning of December 26. He emphasised the importance of data in making the governments aware of the country's current situation, challenges and solutions.
បើយើងអត់អាចព្យាករណ៍បានថាតើស្ថានភាពនឹងវិវត្តទៅយ៉ាងណាយើងនឹងដើរក្រោយសភាពការយើងអត់អាចបរិយាសកម្មបានទេយើងនឹងត្រូវប្រតិកម្មហើយតែពាក្យប្រតិកម្មហើយច្រើនតែលុបលាងបញ្ហា
He also stressed that the data used must be legitimate and up to date, not based on research data posted on Facebook.
ក្របខ័ណ្ឌគោលនយោបាយមិនមែនធ្វើឡើងផ្អែកទៅលើអ្វីដែលយើងស្រាវជ្រាវនៅក្នុងអាកាសនោះទេមិនមែនស្រាវជ្រាវយកទិន្នន័យដែលគេបង្ហោះនៅលើ Facebook បង្ហោះនៅក្នុងស្ថាប័នតាមបណ្ដាស្ថាប័នអន្តរជាតិជាច្រើនដែលយើងមានដែលជាទិន្នន័យចាស់នោះទេប៉ុន្តែវាត្រូវផ្អែកទៅលើទិន្នន័យបច្ចុប្បន្នភាពនៃទិន្នន័យជាក់ស្ដែងនៅលើដី
According to the government, the 2022 economic census show that Cambodia has a total of 753,670 businesses, an increase 49% compared to 2011, where 505,134 businesses were registered. Of all the businesses registered in 2022, 52.5% were urban areas and 69.1% were led by women.